All right, fun subject matter for a Monday. I guess it's still morning. Feels like lunchtime to me, but that's okay. Been up since 3:45. So, all right. So, this is not necessarily the most fun conversation to have, but we're going to have it nonetheless. So, I think I think it's just an important chat to have. So, the idea of you operating outside of compliance when it comes to promoting your business opportunity or your products. And the reason I'm doing this is because, as with most of my lives, it's based on something that I'm witnessing today or a conversation that I've had recently. And I'm like, wow, is that still going on? And yes, it is. So I'll say this, like, you don't want to be the reason why your company gets in trouble with a regulatory agency, whether it's the FDA for making product claims or the FTC for making income or lifestyle claims or any other 3 or 4 letter agency wherever they might reside. And I get it. We want to make the business sound awesome. That's our job, is to make it sound so appealing. But, we can't do the things that we used to be able to do many years ago. And I don't even know if back then it was legal to do it. Where, shoot, when I started in network marketing, I had like printouts of checks, and I walked around with a 3-ring binder, and it's like, hey, here's like the last 6 checks. And I had photocopies of my checks. Can't do that anymore. I don't even know if we could do it back in the early 90s anyhow, but we did it, and apparently we got away with it. But, I think a lot of times people don't realize what constitutes a claim. And I ended up I spent a couple of days in the studio last week, and I did a video pretty extensively on the subject. I'll put the link there. So if you guys want to catch this most recent episode, it's toddfalcone.com/episode 325. That's the episode where I'm talking about this stuff. And I'm pretty sure we put the actual written language of the law inside of that post. So it'd be probably wise for you to do that. But it's interesting. You're promoting your business. We're going to start off with the business. You're promoting the business, and you're talking about timing and ground floor and amazing people and great company, and never before in the history of network marketing has this ever been done. Please don't ever do that. It's kind of ridiculous. Whatever. We don't get up there and say, oh yeah, our company's boring, and it's like, it's mediocre, it's fine, it's cool, whatever. I mean, if you want to join, great. We want to sound promotional. And the problem is, what I see done quite a bit, honestly, is out of compliance. And you might get away with it, or I don't think that's the right attitude to go, well, chances of us getting caught are slim and none. But it's better to have good habits early rather than like try to change your habits later. So, I know, even though, for example, you can make 100 grand a month or 200 grand a month or 50 grand a month, you can't really say that in a biz op pitch. You can't. I mean, unless you have a vividly clear income disclosure statement that's not just flashed up on the screen for a moment and then gone. It's got to be like easily legible. There's other language that needs to be in that as well. And that's why I would refer you to the recorded episode over on my webpage. But the income claims thing is something we can't do. The one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and this is actually what was the motivation behind me doing the post and then coming to you live, because I just know a couple people that should have learned their lessons already, and clearly they didn't, where they are all about driving down the road with their hand on their steering wheel, showing their diamond encrusted, beautiful Rolex watch, and conveniently the Rolls Royce or Bentley or whatever steering wheel. So what does that leave? What impression does that leave? Oh, wow. If I do this business, then I can have a diamond encrusted Rolex and I can be driving in my Bentley. In fact, I can clearly remember, and actually this is kind of fascinating as I bring thoughts into my head. When I first started in network marketing, there was a testimonial video. And that testimonial video was literally everyone standing in front of their Mercedes, their Porsche, their BMW, their home, mostly cars, all pimped out in whatever they're wearing, and most certainly trying to do do you see my rings and my watch and all the diamonds? And again, I don't even know the legalities back then, but that's like, of course, and in my mind, having looked at network marketing for the very first time, I was like, bam, I don't remember I know it was a 5 series. I was 540 or something. I remember I was like, I was going to have this green 5 series BMW and the 18 karat gold Rolex watch, which I don't know if you caught. I did a post over the weekend. I had my youngest kid graduate from high school, and Lance, who used to work for me for several years, came down for Joey's graduation. And he comes out onto the deck. Oh, you can go look at it if you want. It's pretty cheesy. And he pulls out something that we call Big Todd. And Big Todd was this like giant pull-up banner of me. Like this thing's from like 20 years ago. And he had it like on his ranch. And it was like, I mean, it was the outside of it was like all faded, and the inside of it was like eaten by mice. And we pulled that thing up on the deck. I actually took a picture of it because it's kind of funny. It's like I had all the hair here and none of the hair here. And the worst thing is like I've got this cheesy, I've got it was the only watch I've ever sold. I regret selling that watch. But I had this 18 karat Rolex President. And I made sure in that picture that in this stupid cheesy pose before I knew better, to make sure that watch was clear and present. And if you see the post from a few days ago, you get a kick out of it, or maybe not, but it doesn't matter. But again, that's me. I'm not pitching a business opportunity. That was for training. It was like a banner that we use at training events that I did. And, I still see it to this day. Like, I mean, even if you're standing in front of your Porsche, your BMW, your boat, in front of your big old house, and you're standing there with your family and taking a picture, even if it's yours, you really can't do that if you're using those images as a way of attracting someone into your direct selling business. Then again, of course, unless you have the big old disclaimer, the IDS, the income disclosure statement, which nobody ever has. Nope. I mean, I'm not saying nobody, but like most of the stuff I see on social media, it's like, and the jet pictures, all the jet pictures. It's like, do you really need to like show the jet? I mean, you're cool. We all know that you're cool, but do you have to show the jet so you can like impress the people? Because that's basically like, okay, you haven't got caught yet. And that's fine. But then when you get caught and the Federal Trade Commission comes in and they raid your company and shut down the entire operations, which I actually in the post episode 325, I talk about that specific company and what happened and why it happened. I was one of very few people that were in the courtroom during the entire court proceedings for that. All the other people that were in the courtroom were basically in-house counsel for a bunch of other network marketing companies, which they were there for a reason, because they're like, we don't want us to get in trouble. What can we do and can we not do? So bottom line is like, you have to know what's compliant and what's not. And most people, because network marketing so easy to get in, anybody can scrap their way into a network marketing business. No business savvy, no business experience, no knowledge of what they can or cannot do. They end up, if they get to the point where they're making money, and then they go flash it. And the funny thing is, the more you make, the less you want people to know how much you make. Yeah, when you start making money, I mean, I remember as soon as I could afford that 18 karat Rolex President, man, I bought it. Because that was like the first status symbol of success. You've made it. You know, I saw it flash up on the screen the very first time I was ever introduced to network marketing. I never owned the BMW. I kind of got over owning a BMW, but I had the watch. And that was like, and the funny thing is, like, I'd rather wear that watch like in ratty shorts and a t-shirt than, you know, I don't know, with some suit on. You know, in fact, I wore it more when I was dressed way down than I was dressed up. That was just me. But probably a way of saying I don't have to dress up, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's like sometimes I get a little, I don't know. I'm a little edgy sometimes and more of a rule breaker than a rule follower. But speaking of rules, these are rules that you want to follow. And again, I address this really thoroughly in this post. So I would strongly encourage you to watch it, read it, because you can't, like, you know. And the other thing is sometimes, and I will say this, like, if you're in a company and you guys are doing some damage and, like, you know, doing some volume, and you know, you're not doing, like, you know, you're not doing 3 million a year and nobody knows who you are, but you guys are doing 50 million, 70, 100 million a year, a couple hundred million, you know, people are aware of you and you're more visible. And so if I was in a company and I saw somebody that was blatantly taking pictures of them in front of the jet, the cars, the watches, the stuff, and I know that they're flat out of compliance and they're potentially putting the company in a situation where they might get in trouble, I would call them out. I would call you up and say, hey, man, I mean, just so you know, you can't, you know, posting stuff like that's going to get the company in trouble. F you, Falcone. Oh, okay. Wow. Thanks. You know, and if they responded that way and they continued to do it, which sometimes that's what happens, is like when people are doing stupid stuff and you try to, like, I don't know, move them in the right direction, they have so much ego there that they don't care. You call me a tattletale, I don't care. I would, if I knew these guys were doing something that was potentially damaging the company, I would send in a message to compliance and go, hey, I don't know if you're allowed to do this or not, but this guy is constantly doing pictures with his jet, and I don't even know if he owns the jet. I don't think he does. And he's doing this. Here's some, you know, I would turn you in, because what you're doing is you're taking food off of my family's plate if this deal goes south, because we end up with a regulatory agency chasing us down and shutting our doors down. And let me just tell you, if the Federal Trade Commission comes in and shuts you down, you are not recovering. This is your chance of recovery. That's how much. 100% of the time. Locking up all the funds. What does everybody do? Immediately they scatter. They go find other deals. So better to just know what is, you know, what can you do? What can you not do? And you should be aware of that. And I don't think that's taught so much in this business. So I get to be the guy that talks about it, all the unfun stuff, because I just, you know, I love the network marketing profession, and to see people do stupid stuff. I mean, I know a guy right now that's like got popped big time and ended up in court, went on to another company and did the same exact thing all over again. I'm like, dude, did you not learn your lesson? And now is being chased again. Unfortunately, this time he's going to be living with camels over in Saudi Arabia, because he probably ain't coming back to the United States. I highly doubt it. Now you're like, man, I got to, you know, live in Dubai for the rest of my life. It might be fun for a visit, but I don't know if I'd want to be spending my whole life living with camels and sand. I mean, I know Dubai is a great place to go visit. One of these days I'll make it there on a trip. I haven't done it yet. But so specifically income claims, you better know what you can and cannot do. Lifestyle claims, meaning you're portraying that if you do this business, you can have all these things. You don't even have to be talking about income. That is construed as a lifestyle claim. Thirdly, product claims. If you're in some kind of company where you rub it on your face or you eat it, consume it, you can't be saying, I took this product, it cured my eczema. I took this product, I had cancer, I don't have cancer anymore. I took this product, this is what happened. Even if it did, I know it sucks. It does. I mean, even if like, hey, all those cars are mine, that house is mine, the boat's mine, the jet's mine, I earned all this stuff. You still can't do it. And it sucks, but that's just the reality of the world that we live in. So, and you get to a point, probably eventually, hopefully you do, where you make enough money and then you don't feel like you have to show it off. Because the other thing is, I know why people do it, and I did it myself. It's because we get blasted so much from people about, oh, network marketing. Your aunt tried one of those things. It's never going to work for you. Only the people at the top make the money. That's a scam. They got you. It's a cult. Whatever the stupid things are that the ignorant people who don't get it, don't understand, or don't care to get it say. And so when we start making money, we got to show it. And we got to prove it. And the proof is oftentimes in material goods, the nicer car, the nicer house, the flashy stuff. Because like somebody's going to look at you and go, well, shoot. I mean, that's like, you wouldn't be able to afford a $40,000 watch on your wrist if you weren't making money, I don't think. Although, I guess these days, I mean, the what do you call it? The replica watches are so good. Like even jewelers can't even tell the difference. You could probably fake your way through it. I don't know, but that's still not a good thing. So, but yeah, so I don't know. I just, I think I don't like to see companies get in trouble with regulatory agencies, and they get in trouble with regulatory agencies for product claims, income claims, and lifestyle claims, among other things. But those are three things that, are pretty much field-driven initiatives. Although I've seen owners, I mean, man, this guy knows better. And it's like, here's the owner of the company in the middle, surrounded by two other dudes walking down the street in slow motion in their Gucci this and their whatever. That's the only brand I can think of, whatever. Louis Vuittons, flashing all their stuff with literally the Bentley and the McLaren and the whatever in slow motion following down the road. And this was like an owner of a network marketing company. And that video was planted on their corporate website. And the guy knew better, but I also know enough about this owner to know that he doesn't care. Because I know other things that he did. I won't mention them here, nor will I mention who the company is or the owner. But I know things that this guy did, and it's like, oh, that guy clearly does not care. But if you have owners that care, then you have to care. And you have to care even if the owners don't care. Because you're the one out there pitching the business, sharing the products. So if you want a little bit more detail on this, I know it's like, oh yeah, it's not the most motivational message from Todd today, but somebody's got to be that guy. So I guess I am. So if you go to toddfalcone.com/episode 325, you can scope it out if you're inclined. Cheers to you, my friends. Hope you're having a good Monday, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.